in the beginning of the presentation, I talked about the insert object dialog. You right-click the diagram and you say new object. And this is now the new object dialog. This is central in the editor, and this is often the way it will look on your screen. You have the drawing area and you have the new object dialog open at the same time. If you have a dual screen, you may very well have the new object on the second screen and have this as your drawing area. The new object dialog has a number of features. You can filter out on what you want to search for based on the type of the blocks. It has 4 different tabs. One is just an alphabetical list of all the blocks that exist in the project. So whenever you wish, you didn't really know in what library did I put that particular object. In this view, it doesn't really matter because here you just see everything in alphabetical order. There's a tree view as well, which is a more traditional way of showing the libraries and what is in the libraries. There is a recent view where you can see the recently used blocks, and there is a favorite view where you can add all your favorites. You can just mark a block, and again you can just drag and drop it. So now I've created an add block. And you can make another add block, etc., etc. I can say that add blocks is one of my favorites. So I can add it to favorites, and then it will end up in the favorites tab as my favorite object. The favorite view is stored on this particular PC on my user account. So whenever I log on to this PC, that will be my list of favorites. Let's go back to the PID controller. The PID controller is a fairly large block. It has lots of different ports. When you insert it the first time, you will set a subset of the ports, and that subset is defined on the type of the object in the library. In this particular case, you can also see that there is a triangle down here. The triangle means this block has ports, but they are not shown. To show them, you click the block and say, give me the connections. And now I get a traditional parameter connection list as appeared before. An example here is that the name of the block is something that I want to connect to, but typically I don't really want it to be shown in my diagram because it doesn't really make sense. So I can unclick the port to be visible, but I can enter a name here like this. I save and I close. You now see that the name parameter was removed, but on the other hand side you see that the triangle got filled. The filled triangle means that this block has ports. They are not shown, but they are connected to. Let's redo that again. Make it visible, save and close, and now we can see it. In fact, there's also another command called port visibility, where you just see the visibility of the different ports. I can do show all, and I can do OK, and this would be the size of the block in the default view if all the ports would have been shown. And now you see that the triangle was removed because now there are no hidden ports any longer. But in practice, one will hide everything. You will perhaps connect the process value and the output, and that would be it. And this is now my PID controller doing exactly the same thing, but take a much less space. Perhaps you saw that I did something when I did the connection to the string parameter. So let's look at that again. Bring forward the name, and you now see that I connected a literal string to a string parameter. That would not have been possible in the FPD editor, for instance. Same thing goes with the timers. Every wish that you just wanted to be able to set the time on the timer by writing the time, click on the port, connect to, let's say, 3 seconds, and then you're done. You don't need to create a variable that has an initial value and connect that to the preset value. You can just write the time directly to it. The diagram editor supports literal connections of strings, time, and date and time.